Welcome back to another episode of Warren Cali. In this episode, I'ma detail the story of rapper Mack 10. Mack 10 was born Dedrick Rollison on August 9th, 1971. Mack 10 would grow up in Inglewood, and during his childhood in the 80s, he would see a lot in his community. By the 80s, many cities and areas in LA County, like South Central, Watts, Compton, Long Beach, Carson, Inglewood, and several other cities would have several issues from gangs taking over their cities, like the Crips, Bloods, Pirus, and Serranos. Those gangs would leave devastating effects in their communities, with the drug trade rising and them taking over their respected areas. Also, the violence that came with the drug gang and several gangs going to war. This would make LA County one of the deadliest places in America. Mack 10 would grow up in an area in Inglewood called Queen Street, which is known for a gang called the Queen Street Bloods. The Queen Streets repped the west side of Inglewood and became an established gang by the 80s, among several other well-known Inglewood gangs, like the Inglewood Family Bloods, the Neighborhood Pirus, the Avenue Pirus, and the Crenshaw Mafia Bloods, among several others. The Queen Streets would be rivals of several Crips, and also in the past, they had beef with other Bloods. Growing up in the area of Queen Street, Mack 10 will automatically be a part of the community and become a member by just living in the area and knowing everybody who lived in his community, from friends and people he looked up to. Mack had dreams like most kids of playing sports and going to the NFL, but that wouldn't work out the way he wanted, and by middle school, he would pick up other interests. That would later become his career later in life, which was rapping. Mack was influenced by some of his homies in his neighborhood that was into hip-hop. That furthered his interest in rap, and some of his earliest influences were people like NWA. Over several years, Mack would start building a buzz and gaining some recognition for himself for his writing skills, and him also being in a local group called First Amendment. Mack would later be introduced to Eazy-E through a mutual friend. Mack would write a few records for Eazy, and Mack would start building several connections in the industry, later meeting people like DJ Bobcat and DJ Pooh, and he would later connect with several other people from the Lynch Mob, members of Ice Cube's group, which he would later meet Ice Cube, with them being in the same studio and recording a few songs. Mack would later go on tour with Ice Cube and the Lynch Mob, furthering their relationship, and Ice Cube would start collabing with Mack and putting him on some of the Lynch Mob songs. Mack would even be a part of Ice Cube's 1995 Friday movie soundtrack. Ice Cube would even help get Mack a record deal with Priority Records. But the Friday movie soundtrack would cause beef with the group Cypress Hill over what they believe Ice Cube stole their song, which caused diss records between Ice Cube and Cypress Hill. And Mack would fully involve himself in the beef, being a part of Ice Cube's diss record.
It's, we're friends and this is hip hop and everything. And I thought, it could happen. It's hip hop, I said, you know what, let me talk to them. I'll straighten it out.
Everything was supposed to be settled. And Ice Cube asked Be Real to record some vocals for Caution, a group signed to Cube's Lynch Mob Records. But in the studio, there was another problem.
And I heard a couple lines that were the same things I used on the Temple of Boom record. And I thought to myself, wait a minute, that's my line. How the hell is it on this record? I'm like, damn, again? In my opinion, I felt like he saw my reaction, and I walked out of the room for a second to make a phone call. When I came back, the line was gone. And I was thinking, oh, wait a minute, that line ain't there no more. Okay, I know I'm not tripping. So I come back and I have a talk with these guys again, Muggs and Sen. I said, hey, I think he really did take our shit.
I don't run from no challenge, from nobody. Even though we was dogs, I feel like they should be dealt with.
But this beef will later be squashed after a few major events, like Ice Cube getting his chain snatched by Solo, and the chain being taken to Be Real from Cypress Hill, where he can embarrass Ice Cube on stage.
We done had our share of problems, but we working together to work that out, and maybe if the public see us work out our problems, they'll work out their problems. Exactly. It's a lot of problems here, in Southern California, with blacks and Latinos and this, that, and the other. Right. And and hopefully this right here just be that stepping stone to get everything squashed.
Actually, you guys work it all out.
Yeah, we worked it out eventually, and that was, thanks to Mack 10. Mack 10 calls me, because, he's a Damu, and so am I, and I thought he realized, this is all going nowhere in a hurry, and chances are some of our people are going to get tangled up and shit's gonna happen and really, turn serious.
It could have got serious, you know what I'm saying? But I forgot what happened in between, but B is all right, man. You know what I'm saying? B is the homie.
So you helped squash that whole thing?
Yeah. Yeah, but it had to get to that first, though. It got to that, and then it was...
Mack would later drop his self-titled album, Mack 10, in 1995, having hits on the album like Faux Life, On Them Things, and also Westside Slaughterhouse, that would feature his future group mates from the Westside Connection, Ice Cube, and Dub C. Mack's first album would go gold, but his album would have some controversy, where Ice Cube dissing rapper Common on the Westside Slaughterhouse song, after Ice Cube felt Common disrespected the West Coast on the song I Used to Love Her. Common would later respond to Ice Cube in his own song, called The Bitch in You, and Mack was full on again in the beef for Ice Cube.
She's supposed to be hip-hop, and he's so in love with her, but when she go out here, she get fucked up.
What you mean, nigga? Why it was cool everywhere else it went, but when it came over here, it's fucked up now?
Love NWA, Ice Cube, King T, Compton's Most Wanted, Too Short.
We felt it was a diss, so at least I did. I mean, everybody did, but I was the first one with the pen, so that's how that started.
So it was fuck Common.
This beef almost got violent when Common came to LA, but this beef would later be squashed by Minister Farrakhan. By 1996, Westside Connection would officially come together after several collab songs, bringing two rising rappers together, being Mack 10 and Dub C, and already a megastar, Ice Cube. Westside Connection's album would be called Bow Down, producing two hits, Bow Down and Gangsters Make the World Go Round. The album would go platinum. That same year, Mack would make his own record label, being Who Bangin' Records, who he would later put out several artists on the record label, from people like All From The Eye, CJ Mack, The Comrades, Glasses Malone, and also other artists like MC8 in his own group, Westside Connection. 1997 will be another successful year for Mack. He dropped the album based on a true story, which will go gold. He had hits on the album like Backyard Boogie. That same year, Mack will have a few acting roles, his first movie role being a masterpiece movie, Bout It Bout It, and also another movie called Rhyme and Reason, and the last of 1997, a role in the Jamie Foxx show. In 1998, Mack would drop the solo album, The Recipe, which will go gold. He had many major rappers on the album, like Master P, Snoop Dogg, the deceased Eazy-E, Old Dirty Bastard, Jermaine Dupri, and a long list of others. In 1999, Mack would star in his first role, being a hood classic called Thicker Than Water, which will star another rapper named Fat Joe. 1999 will also be the same year that Mack would meet T-Boz from the group TLC. They would start a relationship, and by 2000, they would get married.
I want to know, how did you come at T-Boz? Like, did you just walk over to him and be like, baby, you look fine?
I was a dog about it, you know what I mean?
Okay.
I just did it, just hollered.
How did you
do? Yeah, come here. You know what I mean? She came, and when she came, she was cracked.
T-Boz, he's talking
2000 and 2001 will be active years for Mack. He would release two albums, The Paper Route in 2000 and Banger Ball in 2001, which the album Banger Ball would be released through Cash Money Records, after Mack signed a big deal for a one-deal album with the company. Many people would say Lil Wayne and Birdman got their blood influence being around Mack 10. In 2001, Mack will also appear in a show called Dark Angel. In 2002, Random Acts of Violence. In 2003, a movie called Cutthroat Alley. In 2002 and 2003, Mack would drop a collab album called The Hood, and also a solo album called Ghetto, Gutter, and Gangsta. His last album with Westside Connection, being Terrorist Threats, also dropped the same year. After this album, Mack 10 and Ice Cube will have a major fallout over what was said, Ice Cube's brother-in-law getting into it with Mack 10 and his crew. This situation led to this day of them not speaking in over 15 years, ending the Westside Connection group.
Seems to focus around Ice Cube's brother-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point, a rift started with Westside Connection.
Yeah.
You and Ice Cube.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of hazy stories around this, but it seems to focus around Ice Cube's brother-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk about that?
I mean, what you want to know?
Well, what happened?
It was just, I mean, you know, it was just an unfortunate situation, you know, as far as, you know, what came out of all that, you know what I'm saying? But the stories you heard, probably, most of them probably was, what did you hear?
The story I heard was that Ice Cube's brother-in-law got beat up.
What else did you hear? Did you hear that that before all this happened, that like it ain't like that just happened?
Well, never just happens.
Yeah.
But there was friction.
Yeah, it was conflict. Yeah, you know. But I went to Cube about 4 or 5 times before the conflict jumped off.
Okay.
And told him to correct the situation. So that's the part that everybody leave out, I think.
Right.
I didn't. Nobody didn't intend on starting nothing or nothing even like escalating to that level. You know what I'm saying? Because if you go to somebody 5 times before it escalate, then you was trying to be diplomatic about the situation.
Right. I mean, the problem is that you're talking about Ice Cube's wife's brother.
I understand.
So now Ice Cube gets put in a weird situation where...
Well, it depends on how weird you want to be. Because if it was my wife's brother, I would have told him he can't fuck my money up.
Right.
And he can't be out of line with nobody I'm getting down with. And if you got that big of a problem with him, stay at home. You know what I'm saying?
Like it's a problem with Mack?
Yeah, it's a problem. You know what I mean? It's
I like
you know, it's a thing where
Modest is a motherfucker.
You know, it's just a violation that can't be overlooked.
Okay.
Ever a chance we could get a West Side Connection reunion with you, Dub, and Mack 10?
Probably not.
Damn.
Probably not.
Wow.
I don't want to do another West Side Connection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw Mack 10 on Vlad TV, and you know, I always wonder what happened with that relationship.
When you get
he
him
tells
on,
his side, but...
of course he do. Of course he do. I don't want to talk about it, to be honest, because he know what it is. That's all that need to matter.
By 2004, Mack would be in a lot of controversy after him and T-Boz would get a divorce after T-Boz stated that Mack was abusive and also a cheater, giving Mack bad media coverage, which he would say wasn't true at all. They would have a daughter and later work out their relationship as co-parents.
Right, because at one point there was a bunch of drama. I guess you got a restraining order against you and...
Yeah, but none of that shit was real, though.
It wasn't?
Nothing. Never ever had a incident where, you know, it was no violence or no nothing. Like, only thing we ever had is an argument.
Okay.
We ain't never had none of that kind of shit. But the lawyer she had at the time thought that probably it'd make the case better or something. Maybe he was chasing some attention or something.
In 2005, Mack would drop the album, Hustler's Handbook, and in the same year, he acted in movies Halloween House Party, Apocalypse of the Beauty Queen, and in 2006, he starred in the movie It Ain't Easy, and also a movie called Dropped. In 2009, Mack would drop a solo album called Hard White, and in 2010, he dropped a collab album with Glasses Malone called Money Music. These would be the last albums Mack would drop. Mack would appear in a movie called Buzz House in 2011. Mack, after this point, will focus on real estate and doing live performances, and stayed out of the media up until recently, when he started doing several interviews with channels like Vlad TV and No Jumper. Mack has recently dropped more music and has been coaching Pop Warner football and Little League baseball and being a father of 5, and will go down as a West Coast legend, selling over 10 million records sold. This will conclude this episode. If you haven't already, make sure you check out my previous episodes. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.